You ever come across one of those products that you're just not quite sold on, however you give it a chance anyways, and then a few days later you're forced to eat your words? This smart sun visor is exactly that for me. Let's take a second to check this thing out because it's got a lot of built-in features that are actually pretty cool and extremely handy going down the road. So to be completely transparent, this product was sent out to me to try out and test by this brand in exchange for this review. I'm not always as excited about some products as I am others when I do these reviews, and this product was one of those ones I was a bit skeptical at first. But nonetheless, I wanted to try it out and give it its fair chance, make sure it wasn't something that was actually going to be kind of a game changer. So that being said, I did get this out of the box. I got it charged up for the first time. You have a little USB-C port right here on the top where you can charge this battery up for the first time. Now I will say, after running this thing for a full week in my vehicle, putting somewhere around 800 miles on my vehicles this week, I haven't had to charge the battery ever since, and that's basically because there's a little solar panel on the back side of this that kind of slowly charges that battery up as you're driving down the road. Now, like I mentioned, for the first couple days, I was still kind of on the fence as to whether this product actually was going to be worth it or not. So I went ahead, I got it installed on the visor in one of my work vehicles. I'm sitting in my personal truck right now. I've actually tried this thing on 3 different vehicles just to kind of see and get a feel for how it actually operates and see if I can get different experiences out of different vehicles. After the first couple days and kind of getting used to this thing being in my face, I'm actually surprised to say that I'm pretty happy with this product and what it does for me and my driving experience going down the road. Now, I don't think this product's going to be for everybody. I do want to take a second to explain why here in just a second. First off, what I want to go ahead and explain is just the features on this thing and how it actually operates. So essentially, you've got a sun visor here that you can see through. It's an anti-glare screen and it's also auto darkening. You also can manually adjust the screen to make it darker as well, depending on what your liking might be. Now, where this has really come into play for me is it never fails. It seems like every morning I have to drive east into the sun, and I've always had to rely on the sun visor or just kind of squint and make the best of it. I have to wear glasses full time, and I do have a set of prescription sunglasses as well, but I don't always have those on me. So as you know, driving with a sun visor, while it can be kind of handy to have that down in front of your face, obviously it does kind of obstruct some of your viewing. And actually in some situations, this thing can just flat out be in the way. What's really come into play for me and what I really enjoy about this screen so far is I can leave that visor up. I can still see my whole windshield. I can see out that way. I don't get the auto darkening, obviously, but the main area where I need to focus on driving down my lane, I can see just like I have a set of sunglasses on. Now, if you're someone that wears your sunglasses all the time, or if you're in a vehicle that has a little bit darker windows, this probably isn't going to be the right product for you. However, if you're like me and you're driving into the sun, whether it be east in the mornings or west in the evenings, and you're having a heck of a time seeing, or if you're someone that has glasses like I am and that sun's constantly beating up for glasses and giving you a little bit of a glare, this product's actually been pretty neat. Now, when it comes to different vehicles and how this thing actually fits, what I did find, I've got one vehicle in my fleet at work that bounces like crazy, and this thing does get the jostling around in that vehicle. It was not the greatest experience. I did get a little used to it driving it for a couple days that way. However, in my other vehicles, it does a lot better with a smoother ride, and this thing stays in place pretty well. Now, also keep in mind, you can swivel this thing around as well, and you can kind of get it dialed in where you need it to be, just depending on where you sit in your seat. Now, what's really neat about this is when you're driving and that sun's coming right in your face, say if you duck behind a tree line or you go into a tunnel, this screen will automatically lighten up for you and make it easier for you to see. As soon as the sun comes back into play and it's back beaming through your windshield again, it'll auto darken back down to where you had it. I think that's a really cool feature, and there's a lot of spots where I drive into like a tunnel where trees are on both sides of the road, and this screen lightening up does a really good job, and you hardly even notice it after a while. And then also, like I mentioned, you can make the screen darker or lighter, just depending on what your preference is. And then as soon as you put this thing back in the stow position, it shuts itself back off again. When you bring it back down, it turns itself back on. You get that little display back. Now, if it sits like this for 10 minutes, it does go into a low power mode and it'll shut itself off essentially. And then as soon as it senses motion again, it'll turn itself back on. So it's going to help save that battery just a little bit. So hopefully that kind of goes over the features for you on this thing. It's a pretty cool little unit. But as I mentioned, this product may not be for everybody. But if you're like me and you wear glasses on a full-time basis and you're constantly battling the sun, or you just hate using that factory sun visor because it's just flat out in the way, this might be a great alternative for you and your vehicle. And honestly, once you get it adjusted right, for me, it's kind of been a game changer. I've been able to drive down the road and been a lot more comfortable driving in the mornings. And it's a product I'm fully sold on, and I think I'm going to be using it in one of my work vehicles for the foreseeable future because it honestly has added that much value to my driving experience in the mornings. And for me, that was worth it enough in itself. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful for you guys in making a decision as to whether this product may or may not be the right fit for you or not. Appreciate you guys taking the time to watch. We'll catch you guys on the next video.